Advisory Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, July 7th, approximately 8:47. Good morning, everyone. We begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we have a moment of silence. Okay. Moving on to roll call. Raymond Camina. Gabriel Castillo.
Here.
Elizabeth Flores.
Here.
Judith Gutierrez.
Here.
Omar Minja. Salo Otero.
Here.
Marisa Ramirez. Here. And Magali Rodriguez. For today's excused absences, we have a few. From also prior meetings, we have for May 5th, we have requesting an excused absence is Omar Minja. He's saying he was unable to attend. He did advise Monica, but was not able to come. Also, Mr. Gabriel Castillo, he had an emergency working meeting that day, which is May 5th.
That was in May.
May 5th, right?
May 5th,
These are.
prior meetings.
Okay, because
You're
I
asking for
think
excused
And
absence.
we-
Oh, for May and for June.
For June 2nd is Mr. Omar Minjas. He had a doctor's appointment, so he's asking for an excused absence. As well as for today's meeting, July 7th meeting is Magali Rodriguez has a doctor's appointment out of town. Mr. Raymond Camina, also a doctor's appointment. And Mr. Omar Minjas, he is out of town on work meetings.
Madam Chair, I would like to move that we excuse those members that has to be excused, and we can just make the minister put it in for the record.
So, for the record, also, so long as you say you're excused, you don't have to come as many times as you want, right?
If you
Is
have.
that what we're saying?
Not you.
Not me, yeah. But so long as you give an excuse, you can miss 3, 4, 5 meetings, as long as you're excused.
We try not to
There's-
be as habit.
Okay,
So what's a habit? What's a meaning of a habit?
Just not to come.
If you don't come
No,
to
it's
the
the
meetings.
rules. What does the ordinance?
What are the rules?
The ordinance says that a position is forfeited when a member has 4 unexcused absences in a calendar year.
Unexcused is a.
That's all it says.
Okay, 4 unexcused. So as long as they're excused, it's limitless,
Yes,
right? That's what
although,
it's saying.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what the rule says, although
Okay,
we,
this is for the record. just
And
to
when
make
you
sure.
have an excuse, what would be like,
what's the time
frame that they need to
advise?
are you with
Before
a
the
doctor
meeting.
or?
Yeah.
All those requests came in prior to those meetings.
so it
I
can come
was-
in like
I
5
was-
minutes before.
I, as liaison, received the request most of the time by email. The May meeting was not at the office, staff reported to the museum, so those requests arrived prior to the meeting to my email and sat there. In June, again, I was out, I received the request prior to the meeting, but I was unable to bring it to the committee. So that's what happened right now.
May I ask, is there anybody that has more than 4 unexcused absences?
Yes,
Right
as
now
of
there
today,
is.
Ms. Maribel Garcia technically has forfeited her position.
Really?
We haven't
So now it's
been able
vacant.
to get a hold of her to let her know, but yeah, technically she has
Is
forfeited.
that Martha Martinez's place?
Yes.
I don't know.
Do you know who she is? What is she?
She's, I think she has an accounting firm.
Who it is?
She came once, no?
She's been here a few times,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
She was here in May at the Water Museum.
But
Oh,
is it-
that's right.
We
That's right.
have 12 meetings, basically maybe 11 when we skip one. But then you start to think, if you miss 4, it's almost half a year, I mean, You don't get the,
You don't get any of the benefit of coming
That.
and.
Member.
and helping them.
Yeah, one of the things that is important to mention is, even though having an excused absence might not be, might not affect your position in the committee, it affects the committee overall, because we might not have quorum that day because of that
That's
person.
right.
And so if we have excused absences, yeah, if we
You
have
have
excused
excused
absences, we might
And
not
I
have
left some
quorum.
angry people behind because I left them in.
Besides, we need,
But we
we
appreciate you
need the
being here.
input, you know?
Well, no, and I agree 100%. That's why, you know, I hate to make commitments where you can't come through, you know, that's why I tell people, like right now, we're doing the chamber, and all these people wanna get on the board now for next year. I said, only if you're gonna make a commitment. I know you're very busy, and I know you haven't been you're on another board, and I never see you at the meeting, so I don't wanna have that happen here. I'm being very blunt because, you know, that's
You
the
have
reality.
to.
And the way things are right now, we need real people. We need real people with real ideas, with real commitment. And I get it, you know, people are busy and they're short-staffed and everybody's going through that. But pass it on to someone else and just tell your council person, I can't do it. Find someone else, or I can find you someone else who will make the commitment. Because,
It matters.
it really does.
How many
I get it.
vacancies do we have? I know that nothing like it.
Just one.
Just
Just-
that one,
just
that's
one.
our new vacancy, but everybody else, we have district, mayor's appointees, Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Magali Rodriguez. District 1 is Mr. Camina, District 2, Ms. Ramirez, District 3, Mayor Flores, District 4, Ms. Gutierrez, District 5 is Mr. Minkas, District 6 would be Maribel Garcia, 7, Mr. Otero, and District 8, Mr. Castillo.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, you know what helped, and I don't mind being in that list because it helped me in another organization. But what the organization started to do was to put the entire roll call for the whole year. So right there where you looked at Gabriel Castillo, miss, whether excused or not, you're not there. So is that the list?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, you should share that. And you should, and I think our council members have to know that. Because they think that somebody's that they appointed someone who's gonna be effective. You know, and it's not. I know, I try and give it a list, to my council person, a report of what's going on, what happened. You know, and if someone's not getting it, well then, they're not doing their job either as a council person.
Exactly.
So I think it's important that they get the packet with that roll call.
Mm-hmm.
That you have it is not enough. I think we should have it in this packet, and it should be in here,
It's a
and let me
great
tell you,
idea.
it makes a difference.
We
Because
should
now it's in
do
black and white.
I second that motion. Yes, or that idea.
Second that emotion.
That emotion.
I second that emotion.
No,
We have a
because
second.
people make an effort. I
That's a
mean,
song.
look at your effort. You come from Hell's
Cut-
Kitchen.
Like Father Solora said, we had a rosary in our
On the way.
driveway. And he thought we lived around St. Patrick. So he gets in the car, he says, "Carlo, I didn't know you lived halfway to Eagle Pass." And I said, "Father Solora, he was a chaplain in Iraq, Iran, and you're complaining about coming 6 miles?" Yeah, but the traffic.
No, but, and
Yeah.
the thing is, that everybody still thinks Laredo is a small town.
And it's not, I mean, right
And
now,
you live closer than a lot of other people that live further from you.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I live in the Heights.
You live in the central district.
But
Yeah.
that's a
You
good idea.
lived
to
in the
say that.
grid.
Uh-huh.
And the grid, it was the way that it was originally made. Everything else is like this, it's like that. But the grid is very tight.
It is. I live there all
So
night.
was there a motion? I'm sorry.
We need a
Do
second
we-
motion for the excused absences.
Point of order,
Yeah.
can I ask,
And
do
you
we need,
second.
do we need to have something on the agenda to have a motion for this? I don't mind, but
For the,
Yeah,
attendance
because-
report. We
because,
should do that, we can do that.
because let's formalize it the next time, you know.
Should put it as a,
Mhm.
an approval.
Yeah.
Let me share this with you. We did that at the Boys and Girls Club. Put a grid with, and it puts pressure on the board members to come to the meeting. Because man, it doesn't look good to have, all these board members with an X.
My thought is, we all make a commitment when we say, yes, we're gonna be part of this committee, and we promise to do our best to come to every single meeting. I understand, yes, we do have unusual situations, that we may have a doctor's appointment that fell on that day, but
But let's face it,
I
we
mean-
know a month ahead of time.
yes, we do. We already know when we announce it at our meeting,
I
so.
get excited. I actually get excited about coming to these meetings.
Yes, because we're participating in something that's gonna move.
It's very
It's
important.
alive and it's, and the
I mean-
community is going, I mean, it's something that the community
it-
benefits from and, new ideas.
And look at the Sister Cities thing, and you can say, I have this part, a little part because I'm on the board.
We're so.
But the staff is fantastic, let's face it.
It's
I mean,
exciting.
We're all very appreciative of the work that all of you.
Well, I bet you they would love it if y'all came to help them too, I think. It's
Yeah.
fun.
You're
It's
really
all
happy
fun.
here. I'm gonna be.
Ahora sí, ya vas a empezar.
Except when
Ya
you
vas a
meet
empezar.
I have an excuse, I'm gonna be down to the Democratic convention. My dear.
This is for the.
15 and older.
No, it's
But you
more
know, it's,
important.
better to work
Laredo
with.
needs to go to the Democrats.
Okay, moving on.
Did we get a second for the?
Yes, we
For the money.
did. For the absences, Mayor, Ms. Flores, second motion. Motion, thank you.
Yeah, because we need to stick to, the legality of the meetings and motions and everything. I hate it when somebody says, well, it's not on the agenda, but I'd like to move it. Point of order, yeah, on the agenda, it's a motion.
Yeah, we'll add it to the next.
To the next,
Agenda.
meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the public citizen comments, do we have anything to bring to our meeting today?
Do you have any public?
I have a guest, Ethel Perez.
Back again.
Welcome back, Ms. Perez.
Replacing Joanne.
Or the good board.
Do you have any comments?
I'm on the library committee, but we meet at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And we have pretty good attendance, but I do agree with what you just passed, that they need to commit them, well, you committed yourself
You're
when
committing yourself,
your district council member asked you. And I'm committed myself, and I'm proud. Maybe I could just boast, I've never missed one yet. But I enjoy going to the library meetings. And it's exciting, like you said, Mrs. Rose. And the camaraderie and getting to discuss what's going on in the city.
I don't know, but you can check this, I think I've been to every meeting, I don't know if I missed one because of some out of town something, but in the time that I've been, I think I can count in one hand how many times
Me too, I think I've only missed.
I'm always here.
And I do have to say, we have a good record. I've heard of other committees that have a lot of times that they don't make quorum. And for the most part, we make quorum,
all the time.
yeah.
No, I was on
We're
the
very
verge
appreciative
of
of
getting
that.
kicked out at one point
You?
because I didn't call in, because I was sick. And I didn't call in.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I couldn't call in.
You were sick?
I couldn't talk.
Why not, sir?
Cállate.
And I didn't email. And I didn't remember, more than anything else, I didn't remember to call.
I always remember because after my meeting.
But then I slid in with a rule change, right, or a date change or something.
Yes.
And I know we appreciate the emails, sometimes 2 weeks before, sometimes, well, the day before. or-
Yes.
The reminders help.
The reminders, well, you guys are really good about that.
We, going to your point, we remember when we were on the food bank board, we would call board members the day of the meeting. And sometimes board members have a lot of things to do in their own business. Board members would say, thank you for calling, I had forgotten. And we had already called them 3 times that the meeting was a certain day, I had forgotten. Okay, I mean, like our director would say, look, the board doesn't work for us. We work here. Just like you guys. I mean, we don't work here. We're on a volunteer board, right?
Absolutely.
And volunteer boards, but you end up doing things. That they'll be there? Oh, I had a board meeting today.
So no, we do appreciate
Yeah.
y'all's commitment too. And your perspective and your vision does help us a lot. Thank you.
I think we're on the right track.
Thank you.
Let's go on with the meeting.
That would be-
I gotta do another one.
Moving on to the approval of the minutes for our June 2nd, 2022 meeting, which is on page 2.
Madam Chair, unless there are any corrections, additions, or additions, I would like to move that we approve the
Second.
minutes as submitted.
Second.
Motion carries. Moving on to reviewing the year-to-date financial statements, which is on page 5.
Madam Chair, our summarized budget is on page 5, and the hotel motel occupancy tax collections are on page 6. We're still in a good place. We presented our budget, as I mentioned last month, to management, and we had to make some cuts here and there, but for the most part, we're ready for the next fiscal year.
So how was the hotel motel tax as compared to last year? You know, last year was a very bad year, I don't think we can compare it, right?
This is a better year. Definitely, we've seen the increase every single month. We've seen a better number than last year. We continue, we know that there's still a lot of government contracts
Yes.
in the community. Coming up this next week is gonna be a big one. Because, yes, we have the perfect storm. We have government contracts, we have Pony, and we have sister cities.
Do the government pay taxes?
Mhm.
No.
You know, they have a tax exempt.
I know, that's what I figured.
Yeah, but we do appreciate that they're keeping our hotels.
Yeah, and they eat and stuff.
Yes. So if you have anybody coming from out of town, tell them to make their reservations like 2 hours ago, because, yes, it's gonna be the perfect storm. We have more than 3,000 people coming from Pony. I mean, it's gonna
And
be
they're mostly all
huge.
kids. McDonald's is having a blast.
Of course.
It's a lot of kids, it's a lot of families that come with everybody, and so we're really excited about
Because the
that.
kids pues no pueden venir solos.
Yeah, that's what.
And where are they playing?
They're playing,
Everywhere.
there's 4 different areas. One is the base. There's several fields around the base next to San Martin de Porres. Actually, the church is allowing the use of the CCD rooms as a headquarters for Pony. We've done it before, and Monsignor Alex has been very graceful.
Oh, that's nice.
That's my parish.
Yeah.
That's my parents. And he's been very nice in lending those rooms. And then it's the base, Independence Hills, that has fields too,
Sounds already?
South Laredo. Benavides Park on Zapata,
Yeah.
and SAC.
Let me tell you why I ask is because I know some of the fast food restaurants in those areas, like, there was another, tournament, I don't know what it was, but unfortunately, and this is the part that, unfortunate, because the customer experience is very important, right, that they have a good customer. Well, it was a Whataburger, and I'm gonna say what location, but I was there, and it's always dead. I mean, that location is slow, I should say. Long story short, 3 buses stopped. And they're waiting and they're upset because of course there's not enough staff to man the whole thing. My point here is, as a bank, I know we like to know ahead of time when, like, for example, we know that the busy season is Semana Santa for us because we have all these people who want all these orders. So we literally plan our schedule, so we move people to Semana Santa like at a certain time when it's busiest. I don't know if there's a way of letting, you know, restaurants and fast
We
food,
should.
those areas know.
I
There's
know
gonna be
parks,
tournaments.
yeah.
There's gonna be tournaments coming up, you may have busloads of people showing up. Because let me tell you that's why some of these locations don't close their dining room, because they don't have enough staff to man the front
That's
and the
right.
back.
That's
That's
right.
right.
You know, so, it's good for them to know what to expect, you know, if there's gonna be people in those
Very good
areas.
idea.
There's some restaurants still that don't have enough wait staff because.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't
no,
find
no,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
You go to the
So,
Longhorn. I mean,
Anyway, and you want them to leave with a good aspect of everything, not only, you know, the hotel, but also their
Their whole
experience throughout,
experience.
you know.
No, definitely, and I know in the past we've done it, I need to check with Parks who's done it before to ensure that it's happening. We did it with the hotels, we had staff call every hotel and let them know, hey, you're gonna get literally a busload of kids and families. So I'll definitely check who's doing that for restaurants.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Very good idea.
it's so important, you know, for a lot of like the city and the county and whomever else qualifies for this.
Yes, especially right now with the situation as it
I know.
is.
Does anybody have any questions on the financial statements or taxes, occupancy tax report?
One more comment, Madam Chair. There's a new grant by the state government for hospitality, the hospitality travel industry. We sent an email to the hotels, our tourism partners, attractions, to let them know. We'll send it again because now there's dates for different webinars. But now the state government is providing assistance to the hospitality and the travel industry. So as part of like the COVID,
Part of the election.
yeah, part of the COVID self. Well, thank you. Part of the Coyle usually has that job, so.
Yeah, I thought it was me, huh? Mueve el mouse y vuelve a Gabriel. Los niños están durmiendo. Ay, los están durmiendo.
Por eso estamos quedados
Throw me juice.
But yeah, there's a new grant for specifically, because for the longest time, it was for other types of industries, but this
Right.
one includes hotels, accommodations, attractions, and even some kinds of CVBs. So there's a lot of CVBs that are nonprofit, and so it includes them also.
Very good. Thank you for that information. Moving on to, if there's no other questions, we're gonna move on to the June 2022 reports. The overview, I believe, is on page 7.
Well, seven starts with our,
Strategic plan.
yes, as always, we're gonna include the strategic plan just to keep us,
That's very important, strategic plan.
This is wonderful.
I love it.
and it's gonna keep us, we need to make sure that everything that we're doing.
Your target.
Exactly, that we have all that in mind. And so with that, as a starting point, we have, during the month of June, the end of May and the beginning of June, we had the NNDDA conference. This is the second time we host this conference. First time was in 2013. They loved it. As soon as their rotation allowed, they came back. And we had about 100 police officers and K-9 officers visiting our community. They stayed at La Posada. This
And
time
their
around.
dogs.
Yes,
Yes.
so the K-9 officer and the officer,
Mhm.
because the K-9s are officers, they told us.
And they had set up, you know, in front of the plaza, you know, for the, for
Yes.
the dogs.
Yes, so Parks helped us, solid waste, we had several departments assist traffic, and so they created like a little gated area,
Yeah.
a little puppy restroom,
Mm-hmm.
well, K-9 officer restroom. And so they helped us with the
You don't make only the human, part of it, but also the dog, you know,
Mhm. No, and when you have 100 dogs coming,
you can imagine.
It's a little different.
yes, you need to have definitely an area for them. So there were different activities. One activity that they loved was the walk from La Posada to the Center for the Arts with the mariachi.
Oh.
So the mariachi walked them from the hotel to the Center for the Arts.
That's
They were
unique
so
for
excited.
them, probably. Something
Wow.
they don't expect.
Yes.
Nobody
I think
does that stuff.
Was there any people, like, our transients and homeless people, were they anywhere around the area at that time?
I don't think so.
No.
Medina was
This
ready
is a
to-
setup time.
They were-
I mean, PD was already there, and, you know, know, we worked pretty well with Rosie, so they had already like moved them out of the way. There was one straggler, but Petey had already kept their eye on them. Yeah.
And was the walkway clean?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Only
Yeah.
because we just had an event last week and unfortunately, literally, and I didn't wanna, you know, we were kind of debating about it, cause here we are, you know, trying to be all things to all people. But we were having an event and it was an art opening and we had a lot of out of town people for that event. Cause the artists were from out of town. So long story short, everyone started to set up their beds along the sides of the wall of the building. You know,
Yeah.
so it was like, not only that, we were serving the food and the food was outside.
Yeah.
And they
So,
wanted food.
They
And that's
want,
what it
or
is.
see,
It's when,
they
it's,
wanted,
it's
yeah.
when they see the food, because it was the second time that we had that same setup, and, you know, the food is on the patio, and that's where they're asking for
Yeah.
food, and they're like, we'll pay you for
Wanna see.
food.
I mean, it was,
Right.
but see, the thing is that there is a food, service that comes and drops off food to them too. There's, I mean, literally, they bring a plate, which is great. We were, you know, I just told them, I said, just serve it for them, so they don't have to get in line, you know, just serve it for them on the side.
Tell them to set, just.
They'll take it to them, and so we had staff go ahead and set up. There were, I mean, I'm talking about 10 people, like, ready to go to bed, like, right there on the side.
Yeah,
So,
You know,
So-
but if you're in a very large community, you see that, and I mean, you see that everywhere,
Well,
and
ours
it is more.
ours is nothing compared to, but
It's-
that's the thing, be careful what you start to offer and start to wish for, because that's the thing, we said, we want to
The
be there
word
for everyone, we want,
spreads.
yeah, because you want, and there's entitlement involved, because once you said you could set up this, all of a sudden you set up a tent, you set up you bring your whole family, I mean, there's families in some cities near our banks, where there's an entire family sleeping outside the tent. And there's a guy, he has his motorcycle, he's parked outside, he has a vehicle, he just doesn't have a home. You know, it's just sad, but there's only so many things you can do, you know, also
But
because.
you know, some people don't want to be in an enclosed area. I mean, and we found this out when I was on MHMR board, and we had people going to, you know.
Yeah, it's a mental
They
issue.
just don't want to go outside. I mean, you offer them, you know, let's, you know, visit, you offer
Well,
them everything.
And there's a
to
big
get-
difference between homelessness and homelessness because of addiction. Because those are two different factors, and that's the thing that I kinda don't like to mix up too much, because people say, oh, it's a homeless, well, it's not always a homeless, because there's some homeless people that are very good people that just don't have a place to sleep.
That's right.
So then you offer them a place, but then unfortunately, at the center, we do have a situation where there's syringes left behind, there's, you know, paraphernalia of all kinds left behind. So we have to differentiate that, unfortunately, you know, carefully, because that can be a danger to us too, because if we have kids camp, like we have a summer camp, so the kids are gonna go play outside, they're gonna do something, and if they come across a syringe or a needle,
So bad.
yeah,
The thing is, that you have people that have dual diagnosis, you know, they have a drug addiction problem and then they have a mental issue. What
Yeah,
do you
the
treat
mental
first?
issue.
And that's what we ran into at MHMR, you know, you have to treat
No, it's difficult.
both of them at the same time, because if not, you're not gonna get good results. And this is one of the problems, you know, with the people that are out there, that a lot of people don't realize. You know, they're drug addicts, yeah, but they have a mental issue. You have to treat. And then if you treat the mental issue with medication, and then they're taking drugs, it doesn't, you know, take
Yeah.
it, I mean, so, it's a
So-
problem.
No, it's complicated.
And we just cannot say, well, you know, they're this and that and the other, put them all in one, you know, in one box, it's not, doesn't work that way, but, you know, we have a problem, we do.
well, that's a sad, that's about downtown, unfortunate, because I mean, just walking down here, down the street, it's so sad to see everything, it looks like
All abandoned.
I mean, it looks like a ghost town.
It is.
We had to move the farmer's market from the plaza because every morning that we were gonna have a farmer's market, we had to call the city to power clean because, you know, it was so ugly. And at one point, there was a time when the city was very busy and they weren't able to, and it was a mess and people complained and the vendors complained. And so, the outlet mall lent us the area that's open, for at least for a while. But,
Is it still happening there?
Yeah.
yes, We're only postponing because the vendors said some of their products se estaban deshaciendo because of the heat. So they wanted to wait just for these 2 months. But yes, we were having it and it was very popular and the vendors were selling a lot.
If you would go, you would find out how successful, and I was there.
I thought it was very successful, and I think your outlet vendors appreciated that too, because it.
Oh, yeah. You know, we have 5 vendors that have from there gone to bigger and better things.
And some, I think even stated rented kiosks there. If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, there's a couple of that stick
They
around.
have, and they have opened food trucks, they have opened physical locations because of their little start.
Yeah.
And that is so important,
And-
because
And
people
I was
need that.
asking back then, who was on the board? She's not on the board anymore from IBC. I don't think we have an IBC representative anymore, because I think she moved to, transferred to San Antonio.
I know we need somebody.
Dulce Solano. But
Yes,
she asked me to
Dulce.
post it on our electronic boards, the Mexico one facing Nuevo Laredo and the other one, and we did.
Yes.
When we moved it, so we wanna continue doing that when it
Yes,
comes
Dulce
back.
was a very good participant.
And they advertise, I've seen that, you know, and even the outlets, now they're buying one-page ads, you know, with all of the stores listed, which I brought this up a long time, 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Why don't they advertise for local people? I mean, people here have disposable income, you know, and I just couldn't understand.
We just went and bought out all of their, because we needed golf shirts, and let me tell you, we couldn't find those purveyors. We were going to a golf tournament. I ended up going to Nike, and I bought all the white shirts that they had. They had a lot in the outlets
We
place.
buy our Columbia like uniforms
Uh-huh.
at the outlet.
Yeah, and we had them embroidered somewhere
Yeah.
else, but we bought what
They
everything
have
they had.
so
So
many
many
wonderful
Yeah.
things.
But you have to pay
And the
the
price
effort.
is great.
The prices.
And I've been places where I was, I don't know, at a restaurant somewhere the other day, and she's like, where do you get your shirt? I was like, at the outlet. She's like, I've been looking for a shirt like that for ages. I was like, Columbia at the outlet.
I'm telling you, there's just
That's
a
right next
lack
door.
of, you know, advertisement, and people have to start.
No, it's just the one, I mean, they have a page every day, they have all
They
kinds
used to not
of.
have anything, I
I
was,
know,
because I
no.
used to look every day, Betty.
Yeah.
And just do, what the heck, I mean, you don't need
Yeah.
to advertise to be able to get your people in. And people in Laredo were not supporting this, you know, the outlets, and that to me was
Que,
just not.
ay, go downtown, y que como entro y que como salgo, y ay.
Por donde te
Right across from the airport, there's like a little outlet,
Yeah.
or a strip mall.
They're always.
Oh,
It's
my.
full. And
We have Ross.
we often, Joanne and I often drive by there. This is where the outlet mall should have been, not in traffic. That's where the outlet mall,
No.
in
No,
my
because,
opinion.
because you
No.
create another big traffic problem. It's not that, you know, right now, because you don't have that right now.
Yeah.
All of the
But
stores-
originally, when the outlets were really open, it should have been away.
Well, and our
From
city's,
the-
that's the thing, is our city's big enough for 2, for 3. You know, and quite frankly, our consumer is out there for 2 or 3 of everything. I mean, a conference center should have been in both places. Motel should be in both, 3
Yeah,
locations.
what's
You know,
going
that's
on
the
with
thing.
that? What was holding that up? Do you know?
What?
The
Convention
conference center,
center.
nothing. I mean, if you can't have it here, you can't have it, period. And it's like, really? Is that the?
It's a little thing called politics.
Yes.
Little?
The binational park,
Should have been here.
what,
But we
what about
never-
water?
It's not on the agenda, so I can't talk about it.
You not, you're not making a motion, you're talking.
I just did that little thing in there.
That's how everybody did, right?
Moving along.
Moving on.
No, make this any longer.
So we put the MNDDA conference as part of strengthening the visitor experience, because of all the things that we did around the conference, like the walk to the Center for the Arts, the services that we provided. On destination development, Joel has been working with the Rotary Club and e-commerce to host a special destination training. That for us is very important because it's people that are new to our community or that have been with our community but they want to know more about it. And so we're working with them to put together a destination training. And on destination leadership, I'm very, very proud to say that Joel and Selena received their designation as certified tourism executives. Congratulations.
Okay, so how does it feel?
Tell us.
That's a certified.
I can stay.
So Selena and Joel, now they went through tourism college and they did their capstone project and received their CTE from the Texas Travel Alliance. And that's a recognized industry state certification, and we're very excited about it. Mayor and council recognized them at the last meeting, and so we're very happy for them.
Congratulations.
Yes. And then the other one is Reina, that as you know, she was selected as part of the 9 emerging tourism stars for eTourism Summit out of 140.
Wow.
They selected 9. And we're talking about her being together with people from Discover Puerto Rico, New Jersey, Carolina, like state agencies. And so I had the opportunity to go see her during her panel there in Florida. Very exciting, so congratulations.
Very
Congratulations.
good. I always knew she was a star, but I thought she was more international.
Now we know for sure. It's been confirmed.
That's very easy.
And one more, so Selena had a surprise for us. We submitted some of our, it's a good surprise. So we submitted some of our projects to eTourism Summit, and when we got there, we learned that we had won the Etsy Award for Innovation in Influencer Marketing, which we didn't know, and when we got this, we was like, by the way,
I told them the morning of.
yeah, by the way, we won.
Surprise.
I was gonna tell you, it was the best, longest kept secret that I had ever, because they had notified me about a month before.
Oh, really? You can say.
And well, they told us, they're like, you can share with your team, but please don't make any announcements because they want to make the formal announcement while you're there on stage. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna surprise the girls. I had, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna tell them the night before. We'll, stop at the little hotel bar and have some drinks. But unfortunately, COVID kind of changed my plans. And I was unable to tell them in person.
Wow.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we brought more than souvenirs for
You
them.
were
How long was that?
In a month, it was at the beginning of
I had to quarantine inside my hotel room.
yeah,
Oh my
me too.
God.
Yeah,
I
I spent some time with her, so I had to.
What a bum.
We saw the hotel room from the inside. Very
My
well.
view was everybody having fun in the pool.
Oh my God.
So then I was able to go to all these
Universal
wonderful
Studios.
That's torture.
Yes,
Torture.
but the good thing is I was able to attend everything, and I was able to see her the first day, and I was able to see her panel participate because I was there for IPW. IPW was also wonderful. I still had the opportunity to meet with a lot of different potential travel agents, operators, all that good stuff before I had to see before I had to coordinate. And then I had the opportunity to go through the conference. So yeah, that was a little surprise more than COVID. The little surprise was.
I was like, I have a silver lining. I was like, we won.
So we also got recognized at council for that. The campaign that won was the Welcome Back to Laredo campaign. It was an influencer campaign that was put together with our agency in Mexico, ADS de Comunicación. It was, 3 different influencers?
No.
4?
Es el Gordo, Gaby, Sonny, y Güero.
Güero más.
Okay.
And it
4
came out of the
influencers
paper.
that came,
Yes.
yes. So So we had it on the paper. We're very excited about that our marketing efforts are being recognized.
Recognized.
Yeah.
Congratulations, great job.
Thank you. We have a lot of things going on to increase visitor demand. As you can see, Pan American Roundtable is coming back to Laredo. We have Border Olympics. We have baseball tournaments. We have pony coming. The big one is coming next week. The smaller one is coming in August. So it's going to be a big summer for us.
Border Olympics in the summer?
I'm sorry?
Pony.
Pony.
Oh, pony. Oh,
So
sorry.
pony is softball is a big one where we're gonna
The
have
World
more than
Series,
100
that
teams
girls'
coming.
fast pitch.
And
Why
then,
do they play in the heat?
I don't
I
know,
have,
that's a,
They're kids.
they're kids but you see them all red and they're playing and we were amazed. The first time we saw them, we were in the shade and we were sweating and the kids are running with the helmets
And it's gonna
I have
be
no
like
idea.
105, 106.
Just to let you know, the city's planning plenty of cooling stations. Parks has a lot of experience with this type of events already. And so there's a lot of planning
They
happening
have
behind the
mists,
scenes.
you know, that they.
There's areas where they're gonna have like, cooling, even for example, the library mobile unit is gonna serve as a cooling station in one of the parks. Places that are gonna have air conditioning. So it's all things at the base, there's a couple
because
of,
if a kid
yeah.
faints, you have to
Yes.
cool his body
Yeah.
down right away.
yeah, so there's a lot of different things, plenty of water, we have,
And they also have emergency services on
Yes.
site
Yes.
at each location.
we have about 3,000, water bottles here, empty water bottles that promotional, that we're gonna provide to all the kids. So they have, a bottle of water, to have all the time. The opening ceremony is happening on Tuesday, the 12th at the Unitrade Stadium. Also, there's a lot of logistics around, keeping everybody hydrated and as cool as possible. So there's a lot of logistics going on behind the scenes to make this as enjoyable as possible. I mean, they're used to it, but they're not used to our heat, most of them, so we wanna make sure that they have.
We're not used to it, we live here all our life.
Yes.
Well, but it's more humid now.
That's
We-
true.
You know,
Yeah, you know, there's something.
all the gringos brought their trees.
We have to plant more trees, you know.
I'm teasing.
Well, I hate to talk it, I'm gonna open up a whole other Pandora's box, but I'll put it on the agenda for next time. Parks beautification. But I have an idea, but.
For the tournament?
It'll be on the
Oh,
agenda.
because they actually clean up the fields before the tournaments happen.
Okay, no.
So those specific.
No, I think you're
or-
talking
No,
about
I'm
something.
talking,
else.
I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
more on the Arbor Day side, kind of doing something with trees
Oh,
and
okay.
plants and landscaping. Cause you know, I'm sorry.
Big trees.
Real
Yeah.
trees. And I think, well, the thing is that I think that there's an issue there, cause we went to, we were doing our own kind of study because we do a quality of life deal for every market. And, you know, unfortunately, the river comes out at the bottom. You know, and one of the things is our parks, you know, our lack of really nice park, you know, and we have photographs of all the different parks in different cities, McAllen, even Eagle Pass, my God, you know, they really have beautiful,
They do.
pretty places.
Landscape.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that we're trying to attract, you know, employees to come and work, but,
Right.
you know, that this is not the place where you can actually push that. And that's the whole idea, we're putting something, you know, in brochures and things that will show that. But, you know, like you say, you know, I don't like to be just a complainer, but maybe do a doer and say, offer something. But that's what I was asking earlier, I was talking to Tony Abse, who sits on the board, on the state board for, Texas Beautiful or something like that.
Yeah.
But I know that there's local people, but I really would like to promote and kind of initiate a project that would really push park beautification. And I'm not talking about cleaning. Cleaning should be like, yeah, that should be normal. That shouldn't be a special project. That should be every day.
That's routine.
Yeah, that should be every day. I'm talking about a special beautification project that would dedicate and bring in other people. It's not a one-man show, you know, it should be several organizations that get involved and provide there, but we have to put a plan and try not to get political and try to make it a real plan that really says, we're gonna plant trees, we're gonna put irrigation, you know, and maybe focus on certain areas, you know, maybe.
And big trees, porque, you know, in Laredo, if you don't water them every day, they don't grow.
No.
And then
That's what I mean, the irrigation is very important. And I'm not telling you because I'm so smart at this, it's because we actually got the plans from other cities and what they were doing. And that's basically what they did, they involved everyone and everyone was sponsored a section. So this was like the Rotary
It has to be
section,
in
this
the
was the
community.
section. And everyone kind of even competed to
That's
provide
right.
their own
Yeah.
beautiful
And
area within the
yeah.
big park. You
So
know, and I
if
think-
we can bring, we'll try to bring it for the next one, if not, we'll, depending on their availability, but I would like Parks and maybe, Keep Laredo Beautiful
Yes.
to be here for
Totally
that.
agree.
So we'll try to get them for this upcoming meeting, if we can, we'll.
So the idea is to start maybe with maybe certain designated parks, you know, you start with that and
I
then.
would say start with a certain designated part, because I think the one, and I forget which city, because we were looking at so many things, but they literally picked a park, and everyone competed to see what they could do with that area. Like, they were given like 50 square feet or 100 square feet to do whatever they wanted, blah, blah, blah. And they had to bring the project in for approval. Because, you know, they had to provide irrigation, they had to provide a rock garden, they had to provide one of it was an Asian garden, you know, one of them was a xeriscape.
So
You
they
know,
already
but-
had like the idea.
But the
and they
idea
just
was there,
wondered
and
how they
some of
incorporated
them,
it.
were too unrealistic, it's like, no, we can't put a bridge over it, you get all this stuff, you know. But they were like realistic things that they could do, and there was a criteria, you know, but it was a contest, and then I think that our organization was highlighted, they put a plaque on there or whatever, that they got the best.
And then they go with another park and another, is that the way they do it?
That's the idea, is to keep it going.
Because if you start with one and get all these organizations, I mean, I can see it, you know, like, keep going.
And it doesn't have to be organizations, it can be the community.
It could
Yeah.
be kids,
Yeah,
I mean,
people.
Oh, one could be IBC, the other one could be Killam Company, the other one could be, you know, McDonald's, the other ones could be, you know, and I'm sure they would do.
And
You know,
even smaller
fast food.
companies, they have to get
I know people like that would give to
And
that.
people love to volunteer for that. I
Yes.
remember when North Central Park first started, and there was a tree planting ceremony. And, that's when, you know, everybody showed up, and, I mean, they had a really good turnout, and it was all volunteer work.
It was all.
I can tell you that park, the North Central Park, was Felix Velasquez's idea. And he was the one that put in the initial amount to start that, and
That's
everybody
right.
said, what?
That's right.
And then look at it.
It's a nice park.
It's a very nice
He did,
But look how many
somebody's
areas
gotta
don't
start
have
it.
shade,
Somebody's gotta start it, you know,
Yeah.
the idea.
I don't wanna-
even
Maybe
garden
it's
it.
tough.
No shade.
Well, but I think that's the first start, is to bring in
We'll
the
bring,
Keep Laredo Beautiful and probably Parks and Rec. and-
Yeah,
Yes.
welcome to Laredo, look at our parks.
so
That would be a selling
we'll
point.
bring them to the next
On
meeting.
so many
and put them
levels, that
in
would be a selling point.
In the agenda.
Because it would
Time.
totally change, you know, Laredo, I mean, you know.
Even right now
even
with the
right-
pony league, can you imagine if they had a place to go just play? Cause kids' energy,
Yeah.
forget it.
That's true.
They're gonna go to the mall
Thanks
for the air
the
conditioner.
So the next point of the agenda is, sister cities. So as you know, after a 2-year hiatus, we're back.
Yeah.
We're very excited because, we have got a great response, not only from our vendors, they're looking forward to it, they're very excited about it. As I mentioned before the meeting, we've had, and we accounted for that, we've had some issues with vendors in terms of their visas. We knew going in that visas right now are very difficult to get. It takes a lot of time, the process,
Yeah.
almost a year for some people.
Terrible.
I know.
The other, and I can attest that my mom missed my master's graduation because her visa appointment got pushed almost a year. And
Did she
so,
get it already?
no, she has her appointment this month, I think.
Oh, God.
So, and her visa, expired September of last year. So she missed,
It's ridiculous.
she wasn't able to travel.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
So, that was one thing, so we know that some vendors have been affected by that. The other has been, the vaccines, some of them got vaccinated with vaccines are not allowed in the US, like the Sputnik and
Yeah.
Cancino.
Mr. Longoria was crossing, and they
Well,
said,
Longoria.
have you had, Freddie, I think, said, have you had your vaccine? And he said, yes, and he took out his card, he said, oh, you had it in Laredo, and you're a Mexican citizen? They tore up his visa.
They shouldn't have,
That's
they
not.
shouldn't have.
They did. And they do it to a lot of people. He had attorneys, you know, and sued them and the work and the whole bit.
But it
But
takes
how many
time.
people
I
do?
know.
So they don't come to shop.
But there's even, like
They
the
tell them to
buses.
come.
Yeah, and the state of Nuevo Leon and even Nuevo Laredo has
This is-
had vaccine,
It's
vaccination
sponsored
drives.
us to bring buses.
There are many
Uh-huh.
abuses happening.
Why, Gabriel?
A lot of abuses,
They have
a
to be
lot.
reported,
And that's
I mean,
why
because
we're not
there's-
getting the shoppers back.
Yeah, no, those things I agree have to
I
be
mean, people have
reported
had
because
frightening experiences, unfortunately,
With the US?
with US.
I remember I used to work across the border for 9 years on Maquiladora, and I would cross every day. And they just don't like US people working in Mexico, so they would tell me, are you one of us or are you one of them?
Wow.
And you would say, I'm a US citizen, you know, it's like, oh, I don't know. So and I had multiple incidents like that. You just ignore them, but there is a lot of mistreatment.
No,
Yeah.
and I know they've been, in the last years, they've been really good about focusing on customer service. They do a lot of things, we work together with Customs and Border Protection in several projects. So that's definitely something that should be reported. I know they're very, open to making sure that they understand that the experience for the visitor begins at the crossing
We
point.
we document every incident that we hear about
Yes.
with the name of the person within, and we tell them, get the name of the officer, get the name of the agent, because they want that, and we try our best to.
Usually it's the same ones, usually it's the same agents, they're not all like that.
They're not,
It's just
and
certain
that's very
ones.
true. That's very true, but it's like everything, one bad apple,
Ruins the whole
Con eso
family.
and it
Yes.
ruins the whole experience for us as a city,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
know? Like
Yes.
one bad,
we're different in that way that we
one
have
bad council.
that point,
Board member.
same thing on the checking point. So, we know that those were some of the issues that we were gonna have. FDA changed some of the regulations, and we knew that some of the vendors, but we have a waiting list, so we have all the booths, full. We have 190 booths, we have,
Wow.
for the first time, we have the sponsored booths full. We got all of our sponsorships sold, which is 10.
People were just waiting for this to open up, I mean, they were
So,
hungry.
on the, speaking of, we're talking sister cities, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that one of the issues we had, because we have an ATM machine there,
Yeah.
Yes,
and which works out very good.
Yeah.
But it also had to be replenished a lot, and
Yes.
people kept asking for change. There's no, you all don't have a bank, right? Like where you offer
no,
the vendors change and things like that?
no.
No, there's no.
You know, it's very dangerous maybe, because when there's money involved, there's so many people.
Well, that's the thing, that all of this involves so much money, because most of it is requiring cash. I know some of them are doing the,
Right,
And
the
we
card.
have more credit card,
There's
so
more stations that are gonna be around the
Yes.
arena, so you can just swipe.
usually we have one station, so all the volunteers and the vendors have to go to the one station. This time we're changing to 3 stations. So there's gonna be one all the way in the back, there's gonna be one behind the stage,
Yeah,
and
'cause
one
they don't
in
take
the
money.
tunnel.
I know. See, that's the thing, is that I know we ran out of cash, and and just today I wrote them again, I said, make sure to call, because we're gonna have to replenish the ATM machine every day.
Before you used to have the mobile unit.
They're not ADA compliant.
Oh my
Caroline,
God.
that they're too high up.
Oh my goodness.
And so then, and I believe Falcon, didn't you all reach out to Falcon last
We
time?
had
And
Falcon.
I think
as
last
well.
time it broke. In the
Yeah,
middle
but
of
they
it.
didn't offer it this time.
No. See, and I mean, to me, I don't care what bank you call any bank, because I think it's important that people get cash. I mean, that's the whole idea of the event, is to bring in, you know, the
And y'all have a
vendor.
good location right across the street,
We
but
sent-
I'm not sure what the hours, if they coordinate.
That's where I was going with that, because we literally opened up our branch at one point because vendors needed cash it needed small change.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we literally, I called and I said, just open up, I've got like 6 people that have already asked me that they need small bills, because they're paying them with 150s or 40 or whatever. But we did that, we can't always do that unfortunately, but that's why I was thinking, you know, I know that, for example, I think it's back in the days of Jamboozy, we had a room that was basically a bank.
Change.
And that's where we would, you know, we had,
Yes.
I don't know if that would behoove you all or not. I mean, it's kind of late to be
I
planning all
mean,
that.
we can talk to the arena because they have their box office. So
That could be
if
like a
you-
mini day.
if
That would
there,
Yeah, because it has to
At
be
least it's
secure.
like a-
yeah, if there's a
I
need,
remember the arena used to provide change in the back. You would go into the, like, the locker rooms. I remember going with volunteers. This is where you get change.
Maybe
And they
that's
were,
something.
it was the arena staff behind a cage, and they had cash.
I'll check
I
with
remember
arena.
doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's important for for the vendors. I mean, you want them to sell and you don't want to turn
We
people
don't
away.
want people to just walk away with money because they couldn't get any change, a sale, they lost.
And
I
they
mean,
don't
that's
think
what-
about taking small bills.
No.
No, and they wanna shop, so maybe you're the first booth where they shop and they have $100 for the whole
Right.
day and so, yeah, no. The one thing that it's important to, now that you mentioned that, it brought another thought, the clear back policy. So this year, the arena is implementing the clear back policy for
Good.
Sister Cities.
Good.
The what, I'm
So,
sorry?
clear back policy.
And you're
So-
gonna carry a bag,
So if you have a
So you
purse,
can
it has to be
see.
clear.
see-through.
Yeah, like
So you
this,
can
like you
see-
can't take, like, let's say for example, that type of purse. But if you're going to be shopping, you can take like, like an empty purse for
Yeah.
like purchases.
But
You
if,
feel
clear,
free to
it's gotta be
purchase
clear.
one at the gift shop before you leave.
exactly.
I saw them, I know
And we'll have some,
She's a salesperson.
and we will have some for sale at the event. Awesome.
they're.
So they're gonna be selling those,
So if you go to a concert or even sporting events,
Yes. they have to have
everywhere,
it clear.
and
Like,
But-
women can
you
take
usually
it
don't
back.
carry a purse.
So let's say,
esa no va a pasar.
okay, so Judy shows up with her Gucci bag that she always likes to show off at that.
Uh-huh.
What if she shows up with her bag, then they're gonna send her back?
Yes, they do, they have.
At
they
concerts, you
At
have to go
concerts.
back to your
Yeah.
car.
Did you tell them, don't you know who I think I am? That didn't work, did it?
So sporting
No, man,
events,
I don't
like,
care.
I was at a
Is
game,
that on the advertisement?
it's, yeah, we're putting
Okay.
it
They're
out
gonna
in
go
the
out, that
advertisement,
will be
yes.
implemented, you know,
Yeah.
like, and it's, we got the graphic that
From
shows
the-
you
I'm
what
glad you're
is allowed
telling me
and what
that
isn't
because
allowed.
we were gonna give away bags, but I won't.
You can
Well,
give,
we
no,
can-
you know, you
That's
don't.
okay,
So
yeah.
you can give those
I
away
know.
inside. It's the thing is, they don't want people to
To go in with
carry
a backpack.
something they shouldn't
Yeah.
When they
inside.
walk in, they don't wanna have to be going through. all that.
Exactly.
Right.
So you can give bags inside.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, not a
okay.
problem.
Because
It's
those were
just,
very helpful to people to
Yes,
buy things
exactly.
and carry it.
So
so
Okay.
we
Yes.
love that, we appreciate that. It's just going
Your
in.
personal bag going in,
Yeah,
Okay.
for example,
It's
I already
restricted.
have, I have my little like concert and like football game bag,
I do
Purse.
too.
and I have, it's a clear
I do
purse.
too.
Ah,
And,
tío, pues son bien
Yeah, from
La Louis Vuitton. Tú vas a llevar la Louis Vuitton.
But it's clear, it's clear Louis Vuitton.
Take your bites.
you're gonna be like, oh, she doesn't have change.
So that's one thing that we wanna let
Okay.
the public know. The
That's
other
very
thing is,
important.
yes, Ms. Santa.
Okay, you said you have 190 booths right now?
Of exhibitors plus 10 of sponsors.
Sponsors.
So we have 200 booths.
200.
That's as many as we can fit in the arena.
That's the max
That's-
capacity.
Do you have a convention and visitors bureau, table there at the event?
We don't, we stopped having one several years ago because we needed more space for other people.
Right,
But we do have an office, we're actually gonna have a shop this time,
with those,
with some of the things that you see here. And so people, because we always get people, and this happened, like, started happening in 2018, where people would go in like, can I buy the shirt? Do you have souvenirs from the event? Do you
Yeah.
have? So that's why you see that the T-shirt that says Sister Cities, the bag, the clear bag that says Sister
Yeah.
Cities, because people wanted the souvenir of the event.
And
So,
that's very good, that's very,
Yes.
very, to take advantage of that.
Yes,
Exactly. So
because
we're gonna
people
have-
will ask.
we're gonna have our shop
And people
there.
will buy if you have it, I mean.
And so, we gave up our booth several years ago,
To make more money.
to make more space for more
Sponsor.
Yes, that's the reason why.
That's good.
But it has worked. So now this year we're adding the shop to
Very
the.
good.
To, it's gonna be in the volunteer room. It's not gonna be.
It's at the entrance?
If you go in to the left,
Okay, alright.
next to where the usually the carne seca and
Yeah.
all the Nuevo Leon thing
Yeah.
food is, right there. So where you see the big sign that says volunteer room, there, we're gonna be there. Because we're also 2 people short, so we wanna make sure that all of our
We're
efforts.
trying to consolidate.
Exactly, we're trying to consolidate, so that's our volunteer room, it's gonna be our staff room, it's gonna be our shop, it's gonna be everything so we can have people in.
and people going in, do they get fresh to see if they have any weapons and stuff like that?
The arena has
They
have
have
metal
detectors.
detectors.
Because
They have metal
Two
detectors.
or 3 years ago, I remember going to a Tecos game, and I told them, man, where's your, nobody
Yeah.
had anything that would frisk you to go into a Tecos game.
They're not gonna do that,
Basically, no.
but they have
You
the,
go in through you just walk through the
The metal
metal
detector.
the metal
Yeah.
detector, yes.
Metal-
And
metal
the
detector.
clear back,
Detect
that's what the
the-
clear back policy is
The
for,
3D.
like at the airport.
Yes.
So, that's the other thing. If you know of anybody that has, or if you would like to volunteer, we have volunteer positions. Basically it's for cashiers.
All day.
4 hour, you can do a 4-hour shift to the whole weekend. And it's 15 and older, as I mentioned yesterday on TV. It's, bilingual is preferred because some of our vendors do not speak English. And sometimes the volunteer serves also as a translator. And so we're looking for volunteers for that.
Is it true that the board members get free margaritas?
We'll bring you some chicken tenders.
He was kind of said.
You have a choice of burger or chicken tenders.
Break one on the rocks.
With a little salt around her.
Well, you'll get a free volunteer t-shirt with our logo.
Get aware.
So, the hours of operation is gonna be, Friday, July, 15, 11 to 8, July 16, 11 to 8, which are new hours. We extended the hours, for Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday, 10 to 5.
Wow.
Free admission.
Very good.
So
Well, it
we're,
used to be 9 to 6, right?
yes,
Okay.
on Friday. And everybody was telling us, and I think it was mentioned here in the committee, people leave work and they barely made it, and so on Fridays, so a lot of people wanted to make sure that they were able to get to the event. So we extended the hours for Friday, 11 to 8.
And you know the
Saturday,
sun
11 to 8.
sound, I mean, it's
Yeah,
daylight.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I left yesterday at 8 and it was like completely.
I mean, it's 9 o'clock and it's very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still very friendly to the visitors, to everybody.
And
So we hope
the
you-
parking is free also. right?
Parking is free, entrance is free, everything is free. We want everybody to spend their
Do
money
you,
inside.
given you know, what's been going on in everywhere, do you have extra security, you know, because I think it's important.
I think that's why they're bringing in the clear back
The clear back
policy and the metal
policy.
detector.
We've
you know,
never
just as
had,
a precaution.
yeah. And we have ushers and
We're,
everything.
we're going to the Democratic Convention, and we know
Yes.
there's thousands of maybe candidates.
Oh, that's
And we
gonna
don't
be
know,
full
I mean,
of
we all are just like, okay, anything is
Democratic
possible,
convention.
we have to be on the alert, I mean,
Yeah.
you know?
Stand where you can hide.
Concealed carry.
So I don't know if you have any questions regarding our report.
This is
It's a
wonderful.
highlight.
It's
As
very,
always.
very thorough, thank you very much, that was very,
Y'all take a week off after this.
After Sister Cities,
yeah.
I wish we could.
If you
I
would
have
like to talk to your
conference
council
right
members
now. Yeah, I used to when I first started, and I would do, but it was a different time. I would do the like on-site supervision like the whole weekend. Now we do it. Joel is the first time he's gonna do the supervision also, because it was Vero and I. And so now it's changed, it's different, so we're able to all work together. And as I mentioned before, I mean, the team, everybody has a job, and so everybody's focused on what they know, everybody knows what they're.
We're looking forward, we already know, to be prepared and put in those
That's
extra
wonderful,
hours.
that's great.
Are the Mexicans?
You set yourself up, right?
You have to.
I know, because it is long.
Yes,
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 long.
yes, definitely. We bring them, starting on, they get here on Tuesday. Yeah. Casa Larga.
And you have a special event, the opening, I mean, I think everyone's
Yes.
invited. so-
Everybody's invited to the opening ceremony, Friday at 10. I know you're gonna be
I'm gonna be gone.
all the way up,
All the
already
way
on the way.
Dallas.
But I hope you can join us
At the
10 a.m. on Friday at the opening ceremony for the ribbon cutting. Yes. And so
I
we
wish I
hope you
could be
can
here.
please join us there.
Barrett.
I have to do that special.
I went to one and I was there and then I started walking backwards because these four people, four on this side, four on the, it was one seat in the middle. Ms. Vilma,
Councilmember?
Nelly, yes.
Vilma.
When the American anthem was sung, she didn't get up from her chair. And then when the Mexican anthem was sung, she got up and did this. And I had four people that wanted to go lick her, and I went, oh my God.
Where was that?
At the opening ceremony.
Which, by the way, we have mariachi
And she
sing
came
both.
out in the paper the next day.
No, but you don't. Not American enough.
We have mariachi
Just
Rosario
like
sing both.
Lady Elise.
I'm
So
sorry.
the Star Spangled Banner and the Mexican National Anthem,
I don't.
they're both sung by Rosario.
You know,
It's a very special.
you have to respect
You
everybody.
have to respect the American flag if you're here.
For both of them.
What kind of cooperation do you get from the Saints Arena staff?
Great. They are amazing.
How many people do you have working
For the event,
there? Well, one.
I don't have the number,
Right.
but they have plenty. They
It's
have
from
ushers.
management down to
Yeah, we have a
ushers.
director on site. We always have somebody that's a supervisor, like a high-level management person. I have the operations people on speed dial on my cell phone, and they always answer.
We're all connected on radios as well.
Yes, we all have radios, so we have the channel, so we can call, let's say somebody drops a drink, we can call housekeeping right there, and they respond.
They're on
Any electricity issue.
Any electricity,
We also are connected to security and anything.
Yes, we have the radios, and so we can call security, we can call, we've had-
Nowadays, Betty, I go out and, it's like.
they have PD there on site, they have fire on site, they have, everything. They're wonderful to
They're a
work
great
with.
staff, a
Yes.
great team.
Yes,
But it's
so we all have
very
radios that we
coordinated,
can,
That's a
yes.
lot of coordination, and it seems you've got everything just right.
That's great.
We hope, it's been a lot of years in the process, and so I was afraid that after 2 years of not doing it, we were kind of rusty at the beginning, but then it was like riding a bike. We all like jumped into our
Yeah.
positions.
You start a little bit wobbly.
Yeah, and then so, no, working with the arena is amazing. And we already met with them, and from catering to security. The security staff already knows us, and so they're really good about like the
What's the
process.
lady's name there that runs it?
No, it's Juan Mendiola.
Juan Mendiola.
Yes.
And he's
He's a general manager. Yes. And so Juan, his whole staff have been amazing.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah. We know that anything that we need, I mean, mind you, it has a cost, but we know that anything we need at that moment, they're gonna,
Yeah.
they have great service.
You know, this is a very good discussion on this, the sister cities, you know, and just knowing and feeling more comfortable, you know, what, the process and what you have been
Yeah.
doing and have the necessary staff and the connections and everything. I mean, that's just very refreshing.
And we welcome anybody if you want like a behind the scenes tour. If you're not gonna be here on Friday, if y'all want a behind the scenes tour, maybe on Thursday, of
Just
how
see
the setup
of
looks,
how everything.
how everything is
Everything
going on. We're happy to, we start setup on Wednesday afternoon, and we
Well,
go
maybe
all the
that's a
way.
better day for me.
So, yeah, let us know, and we're happy to welcome you to the behind the scenes of the setup, of what goes on, before the event.
Okay, well, good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and our feature for this week, or this month rather, we wanted to present you, our two campaigns. We know that there's several questions, there was, questions that were tabled at council, and they're coming up for this, next meeting of what we do, and a lot of people, I mean, you all are familiar with what we do, but
Oh, yes.
some of the public and council are not necessarily familiar with what we do outside of Laredo.
And you
And
know, it's
so-
so important that you do expose that to the community, because, I mean, they just don't realize the amount of work and the exposure that you get to this community. You know, and the positive, things that you do, and I think it's so important.
You know, we ought to start like a little column in the Laredo Morning Times that is a regular, and it says Laredo Convention and Visitors Bureau bringing, welcome to Laredo, or bringing others to
Whatever it is.
Laredo, or something like that, something catchy.
Almost like our Friday
And
Pack
then
memo.
saying, yeah, and then saying your hotel motel tax dollars at work, because they think, people just,
I don't know, but they don't think, Betty, it's.
no, they don't think, but they talk,
Oh, they talk, but they don't think.
but they
what
don't
say.
know, and they don't know.
But the thing is that I see, like, I saw the interview yesterday, and, you make a great
It's
presentation.
wonderful.
But the people here don't realize everything, like, we are privy to it because we're sitting here as members of the committee, and you can tell us, what you've been doing behind the scenes. It's a lot of work, and people should know. And they should know what makes this festival successful, because it is gonna be very, very
But
successful.
it's the same people that say, and why didn't they have Jambusi again?
Oh.
And why didn't they, who is they? You or they?
Yeah, because
That's what I tell them, you or they.
Yeah, they don't identify themselves,
Right.
it's just this obscure thing
Right.
that's out there.
So we wanted to make sure that, you have this is our two campaigns.
Very good.
Yes, so in the first part, you'll see, all the information that we're sharing also with council, if we have the opportunity, if the opportunity comes, during the meeting. And these are, what our objectives are, what the core message of our platform, our objectives, so that people can see that we're not just doing this out of what we think is the correct thing, but what the experts in the industry are guiding us, and it's a strategy. And so,
That's where you went with, they're being paid, I mean,
Exactly.
I think it's a good strategy, though.
and having agencies, experts, has brought us to the next level, and you've seen this.
Yes.
You're privy to
We
this.
here, we
Yeah.
have.
And so this is something that I wanted you to all to have, our target audience, our strategic approach, and some of the examples. This is an abbreviated version of what we have with Zimmerman. I mean, we've been boiling this down to this size of a presentation
Yes.
for months, but this is gonna give you like a quick overview of what we're doing. I know in the past we've had questions of how do you like advertise out of town. So this gives you, it's an overview again. Our print, digital, like leisure, what we do for events, specific events, historic events, birding, our meetings market, our sports market, And just in the whole new campaign of Real Mexico, Real Texas, Real Laredo, Authentically Mexican, Undeniably Texan, which is a new campaign that we're going. You can see the billboards as you're driving to
Yes.
to Dallas. You'll see some of the
In
billboards
big
there.
places, yeah.
And so we're
And that's
excited.
so important,
Mhm.
you know, because we're out there. The
Yes.
name is out there.
Yes.
How much of your budget is Mexico?
It's
Spent in
about-
Mexico.
It's about, a little bit, half our advertising budget, we try to keep it, but this time, yeah, we try to keep it balanced. Although with the budget cuts this time, it's gonna be a little bit less. How much do you have for?
The final numbers.
We can break the breakdown for next meeting. But advertising in Mexico goes a long way with less money. And so with the amount of money that we have in Mexico, we get a lot of bang for our buck. We get activations, we get influencers, influencer campaigns, we get BTL, I mean billboards.
And you're dealing with an ad agency?
We are,
Or the-
yes, we work with an agency that we've been working for the last almost 8 years. They're wonderful, they're a small agency, they're very inexpensive compared to agencies here in the US, and they're experts in Monterrey and also in Mexico City. And so it's been just a very successful relationship with them. They always push us to new things. And so the combination of the marketing team here that's always thinking of new stuff and the ad agency that's always pushing us to new things has been very successful in my perspective.
I think that's very important.
And the presentation that we showed last time about the Semana Santa campaign, that was that combination of their vision and the vision of the
And also
agency.
they know the market, you know, because also them being in Mexico, they can just give us that extra guidance of maybe it's something that we're a little hesitant to, like, I'm like, what do you mean we're gonna be at the park? You know, because I can come off sometimes a little, you know, you can convince me. And he's like, no, like, you're not, you gotta look at the bigger picture. Like, we're going to be, you know, doing one-on-ones, we're going to be giving out coupons, we're going to be giving out advice, we're gonna, you know, so then, you know, just, you know, seeing the final product, it's like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, it works, and they
But
just.
then they get to the border
And then they have a bad experience.
and then they
Well,
have, you know.
I guess that's where I was
just-
going with that too, because I wanted to kind of, you know, when we talk to, people at that level, like you say you've been discussing, is that they know what those numbers are of the visitors we depend on. And sometimes our own public officials have to be armed, I use the word armed,
With
right?
the information.
With information.
With the information.
Mhm.
Because they say, well, how, what, 2 people, 3 people that come across the country. But you know,
100%.
when you have data that says, we have, or blah, 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 people that show up, and all these people,
Yes.
and to have half of these, or 1/3 of these being abused or harassed, you know, is a detriment to our community.
If
you
it's
know.
one, it's one, and I don't
And
care.
unfortunately, it's sad that we have to have that fight, or that argument, or that dialogue, but, it's very important, because otherwise, this could hurt us,
Yeah.
you know.
And
And
the
we
worst
have
thing you
numbers.
can do is ignore it, WAP.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
because you know what, that person that had a bad experience will put it on social media,
Yes.
will
And
share
we're
it with
gonna-
people.
yeah,
And
they're
that'll go
gonna
out
tell
faster
other
than any influencer's good news.
And we have numbers, the last good set of numbers that we have obviously is from before the pandemic. But the state, the office of the governor, they provide, at a cost, but they provide, research for different communities. And so we subscribe to that information. And in 2018, we had 1 million people coming to Laredo from Mexico.
Wow.
Like planning to stay here, not transit.
Not just bypass.
People
but
planning
is their
to
destination.
stay here
Yeah, the
Yes.
destination was.
A
really
million
good.
people.
Wow.
from Mexico in 2018. So we have those numbers.
And I think a lot of the people that, you know, when you do the advertising over there, you get more bang for your buck, because people in Mexico are wanting to come to the United States, or even to the border, you know, just to do whatever, the shopping, or, you know, whatever they're here for, business. I mean, that's very important, I mean,
Yes.
it's that, And the advertising dollars, you know, for them, for other people.
Who do you share that information with?
Everybody I can, basically.
Because
I can bring the reports from previous years. Again, the one from 2021,
Yeah, it's sad.
The pandemic
because
effect
we,
was still.
the restrictions, we didn't really get a lot
Yeah,
of information, but.
But you can have the.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still a good comparison to have that, the reality of what happened and what
Because
changed.
once
Yes.
the restrictions got lifted, that's when we saw it.
Probably 2019 would still be pretty accurate, and then right after that is when the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone knows that, I think everyone knows that that's gonna be, but to me, it's important to show,
You can say
the numbers went down, but they went back up.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be realistic and show the reality of what occurred, because
Right.
you only learn from your history and
And
the good, the bad.
that's one of the things that, and that's why when I say anybody that I can share it with, because a lot of the questions that come to us is because visitor from Mexico, it's not as easy to identify a visitor from Mexico than it is to identify a visitor from anywhere else in the US. Because we all basically look the same. And so, as a former visitor from Mexico, I can say, we all look the same. We all visitors look the same. And so it's difficult to identify, and so a lot of people say, we don't have any visitors. And I challenge some of those questions with, have you gone to Target and looked at the license plates?
Exactly.
Have you gone to a Walmart and looked at
To
the license
Ross,
plates?
to
To
Ross,
Ross.
that,
And just
Yes.
walk around Ross.
Everybody
And
goes
so,
to Ross.
plus, we have numbers to back it up. So it's not just,
TJ and
it's not just me looking at the license plates, it's we have numbers that back that up,
And
so.
that's my point, because to me, those numbers should be shared with key people, key industries. For example, I think the chamber should know those numbers, and let me tell you why. Because people, chains, franchises, like restaurants, hotels, they want to better their place. Sometimes they want to make refurbish, sometimes they want to invest more money, but their corporate office is in Illinois or Minnesota. There's like, why Laredo?
They don't understand.
They need that, they need to be armed with that information to say, this is what's coming. And if I have a shitty hotel, nothing good.
right.
If I have a bad looking place, if I don't have the top notch, I can't invest in this.
That's right.
You know, you're not giving me the money, and that's what holds back a lot of local
Yes.
businesses, is that the manager wants to do it, but the head office does not allow them. So they have to be armed with that information to take it forward. So I think it's important that be public information, as public as possible for people like I would want it. I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna be asking for a lot of information for the chamber next year, because I think it's important that they know
Yeah.
these things, because I hear that. I wish I could do it, but my corporate office does not want me to do this, or corporate office doesn't want me to invest in that. I have the old tables, I have them fixed up, the torn up, seats, in the booths, because they don't wanna invest the money right now. They
And-
don't see it.
I don't wanna keep saying that the report we're getting is wonderful and amazing, but I think it's gonna help us also bring that point home. The new reporting that we're getting should help us show in a more graphic way how the visitor is behaving whenever they get to our destination.
And I think it's gonna be important also to be able, for the people, the store owners in downtown, to start investing again. People are coming, people walk across and they're walking traffic.
I'm gonna bring you all a report that we're preparing Laredo Main Street with the number of people that come downtown every day.
Yes,
And I'm telling
It's
you,
need that.
huge.
but we need to print
but
that.
but you need to, so the people that own buildings and stores,
And people who are thinking about it, there's already businesses, I understand there's a little, cafe down on, that's just opening, Rad
Yes.
Cafe, that's gonna open, and I heard there's another place, another coffee shop that
Because
wants,
they opened it and then they closed it because they wanted more parking spaces.
I've heard, here we go. But that's the thing, is that people need to know what's going on that end, and how the bureaucracy that's holding things back.
And the bagel shop at,
Yes.
at
The
the
Rialto.
Rialto.
But
to die for.
it's not enough that we have to keep pushing it. I try and push them as much as possible. I made my own flyers, and I just said, this is down This is downtown, you could park here. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for people to go in, because they like them. I brought some to the office, and like, this is great. I said, they're downtown here, you know, and I gave the number, I gave.
And there's a new restaurant, the one that was featured in Texas Monthly, is gonna open the Thai restaurant.
Oh, really?
It's gonna open
Yes.
right,
Where Catan was.
where Catan was,
Oh, my gosh, well,
where Rochas was.
I mean, that business was very successful, so it's
Yes.
already, you know, got the reputation.
And we need
Being
to,
supported
we
by-
need to explore, but we need to make it easier for people, because people are so lazy, and it's a consumer thing. And I'm the first one to admit I'm the lazy one too. To find parking, it's like, where am I gonna park? No, how do I, you know,
I'll just go wherever I can just go.
Yeah, I just go to work and just park. I mean, let me tell you that, I think about La Posada sometimes too, because I'm like, where am I gonna go park? I feel like a turkey, where I feel like
Yeah.
any of this. But where am I gonna, you know, and I was like, and they're very nice, let me tell you, they let me park in front, and I'm like, no. He said, just park here. I said, no, I wanna do what's right.
You know
I wanna
what
be
the kids do though? They all park at the mall or wherever they can, that it's all right. And then they take Uber
That's,
downtown.
okay, there's a thought.
Well, you get home from your house and take Uber or come back?
$5, let's go.
Pues sí, everybody's willing to pay. So that's a good idea. And if there was a little something to go around, that would be
The
kind of
thing
fun
is that
too.
you're improving another business, you know, you're getting Uber more business, and all of that is a chain, you know, reaction to whatever people are doing, and
Oh, the bagel shops
I'm
are
always
on-
telling the downtown people, just share, give me a little flyer of what you're serving or your special for the week. I've also asked Erica to send me that too for the restaurant. I said, send it to me, I'll send it to, I mean, I've got 300
Okay.
people here in one
Yes.
space that can go down.
we have
Yes.
government, have the city and the county, and, you know, a lot of other, you know, the bank, I mean, they're all downtown, the federal courthouse, all of that.
It just has to be, it's, you have to
That's a
keep
lot of
reminding
people
them, you
that
have to keep it in
downtown.
their
Yeah,
face.
people
All
do.
the time.
And it's so
Wait
easy
till you
to
see the
send it
numbers.
out.
It's unbelievable.
Well, that's fantastic.
You said,
And
when
when
many
did you
people
Cross.
came to Laredo, came from Mexico in 2018?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And going back to this, how many people from across, how can you tell? Back in the day, in the 80s, when the Tecos played at West Martin Field, Milton Jamail from the University of Texas would come and he says, okay, how many people are from Laredo and from Laredo? Just wait for a good play. The people from Laredo clap, and the people from Laredo keep them.
You would just
So
think-
there was a good play, and you saw what you found, and this, he said, it's about 50-50.
Well, now a lot of them live
About
here too, so
50-50,
we have to-
you know, because that's true. At a baseball game, the Mexicanos chiflan,
It's a baseball game, it's something.
We're British,
You wanna
we're
do
British,
that?
or maybe they throw in
we watch down.
I don't know how to whistle, so.
Pues cómprate un hueso.
So that's true.
My husband would say I'm gonna get my Mexican car revoked because I don't know how to whistle.
Ay, qué bárbaro.
We have, just to answer the question, this last year, we spent around $680,000 in Mexico advertising.
Okay.
So we had a little bit of a cut for this year, because remember, this last year, we put more money, with the approval of management, we had put more money because of the recovery. We wanted to make sure we were promoting heavily. And so this upcoming year, 22-23, we're going back to our regular programming. And so, but it's around that,
Including the agency.
yes.
I mean, you look at the population in Monterrey. I mean, we're closer to
600
Monterrey than we
I
are
know.
to San Antonio. And all of those people, and that's a market, you know, that you say, wow. I mean, we need to, I mean, it's gotta be,
Well, but
it's gotta work for us.
And
But it's
we're-
all encompassing, you know, and I hate to put it, it goes beyond, you know, us, it goes to everything, it goes to the, like I said, the whole customer experience. You want them to be able to enjoy beautiful hotels, great restaurants,
Todo.
you know,
And
entertainment, and great shopping, and then a beautiful park, beautiful landscape, you know, clean city.
Everything,
The
yeah.
sidewalks, I mean, you know,
It's- it's all,
It's all
To
the
be
product.
different than where they're coming from.
It's part of the product, and one thing I have to say
go
is,
to dumpy places.
we're all fighting for that market. I mean, in talking to
Yes.
other destinations, I know during March, we were all doing the Mexico rounds. We were all going to Monterrey and then Mexico City, I mean, South Padre Island, McAllen. Well, McAllen didn't do it this year, but they usually do. Even San Antonio, of course, Houston, so we have plenty. And the second part is the Mexico activity report. So that's also part of what the agency provided. It has a little bit more information of what happened since the pandemic, with campaigns like Aguanten.
There's a lot of combos with it, I don't mind, what's that all about?
Yes, so because Mexico City is a new market for us, we wanted to make sure people knew how to get to Laredo. So we did a big effort. Most of our presence in Mexico City has been come to Laredo, enjoy, and at the beginning it was come to Laredo with Aeromat, like that's how you get here. And now this year we introduced our campaign now in combination with,
Okay.
we're still doing this is how you get here, but now we have, this is what
As a
Laredo is
city-
all about.
As a city, you cannot, collaborate with other advertising to, like, in other words, to save you money on advertising, like, you can't do ads with other people, with other vendors, other local, like, let's say if you want to do a business with, Chili's, Chili's, because they want to promote, they can't latch onto your ad and pay you, no.
No, because we have to be open, because we're
Right, you
municipal
can't be
monies.
exclusive to
We
anybody
can't
else.
be
This is
exclusive,
also
yes.
hotel money, and you've got to be able to
Very
maximize it.
Yeah,
And other, hotel is very specific to how they
Mhm.
spend it.
yeah.
So if you do with private, I mean, it may work,
It
I
has
don't
to
know,
have
but.
like an overall message,
Right.
like
Yes.
over
Like
X
overall
number of
restaurants,
restaurants,
overall-
hotels.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gotta be that.
Except for your little booklet, right, your little one, that one you do include everybody in there.
We include, and that's the point, we need to include everybody, especially on our website, because in the booklet, it's difficult, for example, all the restaurants, we send people like, for more information, go to our website, and that's where we have everybody.
And
So
just so
we
you
need to
know,
be here, yeah,
we're going to Veracruz for the Karen,
Uh-huh.
conference this coming week,
yes.
and I did have, you're not upon, because you sent me like 3 boxes of the magazines.
Yes.
So I did have, and I'm gonna put those in our packets, we have,
Oh, perfect.
they're expecting about 700 delegates supposedly.
What
Okay.
kind of conference is it gonna be?
It's Gentes Aduanales from Mexico.
Yeah.
All the Gentes Aduanales, so they have a conference over there, and it's like a 4-day deal, but we sponsor a golf tournament
Mhm.
there. So at the golf tournament, we're putting a goodie bag together, so that's where we're putting the magazine.
Oh, perfect, thank
In
you.
there, I don't know if you have anything else that you would like. I mean, that one honestly is, the goodie bags are only 150 goodie bags that we're gonna
Okay.
put together for that. But I did wanna put the magazine in there, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if anything else, just so you know. And I do know that Miriam Castillo's going from the city,
Yes,
but that's about it. And I know at this time they don't have booths, they're not
Yeah,
doing
no.
it.
so we're not doing booths,
Right.
I think it's just medium going, yeah. I don't know who else is.
I like this Real Mexico, Real Texas.
Yes.
A lot of people have told me, chefs that came down to do a thing here in Laredo, that Laredo does not have Tex-Mex food.
Oh, yeah.
That Laredo has Texas and Mexican food.
And the magazine's real nice.
To
It's
always
perfect.
say
It's perfect in
Texas
the back.
and Mexico, not to
Very
say
small.
Tex-Mex.
Because Tex-Mex is it's a
Yes,
different.
it's a different,
It's a different.
It's a different
Yes.
cuisine, yeah,
yes.
it's a different cuisine.
Yeah, it is.
So we have,
So I like this, Real Mexico, Real Texas,
if
Real
you
Laredo.
can, and you've seen this, the different activations that we have, the ones with the sunshade.
I was just looking at that, I think
Yes.
this is a tremendously good idea.
And
Yes.
that's the agency is the
I
one
always
that,
look at this shit, I don't even know why. I guess it's just like staring at the sun and you don't wanna stare at, but there it is, and it's like, these things, it's crap, I don't know.
and so that's the agency, those are the things that
Open your eyes.
They're doing a really great
on our
work.
own, it would be very difficult to
They're
achieve.
doing really good work.
You're the experts at home.
Exactly.
You know,
And we get better pricing going through them.
Is there any
And they have a
campaign
problem.
to get more of these shapes, like you have them on a year, you know?
No, this is the first time, because what we try to do is we try to do very different things every time. This is the first time. This might be a repeat though, because it was very popular.
Are we on the,
We're trying to
If you-
get some
if
from
you tell
Laredo,
Laredo that
so they
there's-
can have from the events in Mexico, but I need to get the correct price for that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get more, shapes for Casa Laredo, because that's.
Yeah.
okay, well, that's good.
Because, yeah, that's definitely
Tell
a very
them
popular
that
one.
there's rolling hills and they'll laugh
Yeah.
at you. And there are at the max.
Yes, I'm sure there are.
So there's
In other areas, you know, there's a lot of rolling hills, except different levels.
Oh.
Yeah, oh, yes, I mean, because, you know, you have people that are building, you know, builders.
Yes, that's so stupid.
And then you look at all of this.
And everywhere else, they build on that kind
or
of
around
terrain.
it, yes.
So a lot of questions come
I
from,
see a lot of the deer have been displaced in close to the university, and, you know, what is it, Bartlett? And it's like,
Flat.
they don't, I mean, you're displacing a lot of this wildlife, which is so important to.
the area. Hopefully they can find.
They can find, yeah, I mean, they can, like Betty says, incorporate it into whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
Development, and I'm for development, but, you know, I think that it's got.
They need their own development too, their own, like, area.
Flat and everything.
Yes, it's just like people that talk about historical preservation and businesses, but you can incorporate both of them, have them plenty of conferences on historical
They've done it
preservation.
like that
And
forever.
because, I mean, it's just like, it pit you against each other, and it's like, so self-defeating.
And, on page 58, a lot of the questions also come from social media. What is our engagement? We have the engagement for our different accounts. And engagement means how people are interacting with our accounts. And a lot of people say, well, one thing is engagement, but what if it's negative engagement? And I'm happy to report that our sentiment, because now there's ways to figure out how people interact and in what sentiment they are interacting. So the sentiment for Laredo is very positive.
Oh.
The tourism, specifically the tourism sentiment for Laredo is very positive.
Good.
And so that gives us a good idea that the engagement is not just people
Coming
just
in, having a bad
going in
time.
because they don't like it or reacting in a negative way, but it's people reacting in a positive way to the tourism messaging that we're putting out there.
Without having to read anything.
Yeah.
You already have the data.
Yes. So I don't know if there's any questions. There's a lot of information here, but I
I know, I love
We
it.
wanted
Take
to-
it home and just digest it, 'cause it's
Yes.
like-
we wanted to make sure you all had all this information.
There's a new exhibit, by the way, at the Republic of the Rio Grande, that's gonna have the opening. It's
Is that
Friday,
tonight or next Thursday?
Next Thursday, I'm not gonna be here again.
Otra vez. Where are you gonna be?
En Dallas,
Ya
At the
pusiste
Democratic
un-
Convention. In case you're wondering, I'm a Democrat.
In case you're wondering where she's gonna be, you know, where she's gonna
Would
be.
you call me on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday? Maybe Saturday, I'll go and see you all.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
not
feel
my
free to drop by the arena anytime, Wednesday, Thursday, to
I'm
see
gonna
the
be talking
behind
about this all along to everybody.
Take the booklet so you can answer any questions.
Good idea,
You know
good
what?
idea.
You know what? Did you know?
It fits perfectly in your purse. Perfectly read.
Can I see that? Absolutely. Period. In black and white. So, but, you know, I mean, I think you all have done a tremendous job. I mean,
Thank you.
It's wonderful
Thank you.
to see that this is thriving, you know, the department is thriving, the community as a result is thriving, and you all have done a great job in doing wonderful for this organization, you know, for Laredo, basically.
especially very small staff. Y'all do so
Yes,
much.
y'all do so
and-
much for,
Tiny,
you know,
It's
tiny.
a small
you
group.
used to now you got active wall.
Are you,
How old is the Convention and Visitors Bureau here in Laredo?
1996.
1996. And let me ask you, why did they move from downtown, which is easier to get to? This is hard to get to.
it's very easy.
We actually get more walk-ins here.
It is.
Yes.
I know that.
I
And
think
why did
this
we move?
was
Because we
easy
could have
to get
been, we
to.
had
I mean, you
people
A good
sitting,
thing.
If
We
you have a lot of
had
traffic
people-
downtown.
desks in the hallways.
Yeah.
It wasn't
still-
visitor
We're
friendly.
just used to getting out in front of the building and.
There was no parking.
Everybody
Here
was
we have the parking
at
out the outlet.
the door.
People were not able, we couldn't put a store there. The space had been rethought several times. Walls were put in weird
Walk to
places.
church.
And so we've had more walk-ins here. People see us. We have a lot of people walking around, which we didn't have over there. And here we had the possibility, one, to make it look like the way we want to welcome visitors. And second, we were able to put the shop. I mean, now it looks like the way we want the visitor to see Laredo.
I think it's exciting to come down here, downtown here.
I like it.
I mean, I like the, you know, the location, you know, because it's different and, you know, I like it. So-
And we're talking about like bringing people to downtown, bringing people to the
Yeah,
outlet.
parking.
This is a perfect like
Place.
location
You
for
should
that.
take an Uber and they leave you right there at the door.
That's what easy for us to get
$5.
You know, the other day,
We
I,
have DoorDash and
But no, no,
Grubhub
no,
that come
no.
and deliver
Yeah.
during lunch
Yeah.
hour.
I'm worried
We
it's
gotta
like
do it together.
Cheap.
like VIP customers.
the other day I wrote a story about
Or
the Sage
Lyft.
Moore building.
Yeah.
And I was writing because I went to the pharmacy, which I had never gone to that
Sage
pharmacy.
is
and-
a-
No,
Sage
cuando más
is
si
there.
sale
You
libre.
don't
Don't tell me.
And now the bagel's there.
Yes. They want
I know.
to, they
And I see them
want.
at church, because I go to St. Peter sometimes. Long story short, I wrote something about Sage Moore building, because I used to go there with my, when I was little, because the dentist, Dr. Longoria, was on the board
Yes.
there. And I mentioned going, I said, I remember the lady in the elevator, I said, I always was intrigued, the fact that she sat there all day.
And also
Yeah.
they was
Opening and
Press the
closing,
button.
opening and closing.
Yes.
Would you believe, her
Lisa.
daughter wrote to me, said, that was my mother.
Oh
She said, and she, that was the saddest day when they switched to the regular elevator, that was the saddest day for my mother, because she loved her job. Isn't that
She
amazing?
did.
Where was this?
And then, you know,
The
you know
Rialto,
something, you know,
Where is
with
it? The Rialto?
modernization, it's like,
The Rialto Hotel.
Oh, the
Yes,
Rialto.
the Rialto.
The Sage Moore building.
the same.
The windows are still, they still have the names on
Yes.
some of them.
No, I love it. If you
I
go to
stayed
the
there for
rooms,
a
they
week.
I
have
love it.
that
Have you
like
been in
the
rooms?
type of windows that are
No, I
like, they have
haven't.
texture.
I haven't, not since they were.
I love it. I love it. It's very mid-century. I love it.
It's wonderful.
Well, I'm gonna go check.
Tom does a great job.
And someone,
Yeah,
someone
it's
also told me there was a lawyer
I
there.
stayed there for a week.
It's so funny how the kids call,
Really?
the
Yeah.
kids send me, you
Well,
know,
this was
someone-
back when my
so my
parents-
dad had a law office there.
I needed to stick away.
I live in
So
that
I
where now,
called up
but
Tommy, really good
either
friend of mine.
Allison or
He's like,
Alan,
come over.
some lawyer.
Perfect.
Oh, nice.
There?
Yeah, I was there in that office too. And then, of course, Chacha Cavazos wrote, it says, that was my dad.
The
My dad was a
dentist.
dentist.
Yeah.
Everybody was there.
Yeah, that was the place to go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Get back to the meeting.
Back to the meeting, no. Our next meeting is scheduled for August the 4th. And do we have any other announcements to bring to our meeting
You're gonna
today?
be at the Republic.
already asked her.
Only Republican convention for 3 days.
And the,
Do we have a motion to?
I move that we do whatever we need to do to adjourn.
Adjourn.